Hello, my name is Pam Varner, and this is a placemat that I call Hearts on Fire. To stitch this design out, we're going to use the Westalee Design strand of hearts, the 1-inch size, and I'm going to use the 10.5-inch template. The other templates we're going to use are from the hearts, and I'm going to use all 6 of those. So those are the templates that you're going to need to stitch out this design. And to put the placemat together, we have a centerpiece, which is a 12.5-inch square, and 2 accent pieces, which are 3.5 by 12.5 inches. The first step is to sew those together on opposite sides. And now we have our placemat on top of batting and backing. You need to cut this at least 1.5 inches all the way around, so 3 inches. I always do more to give myself some room to test tension and to try out a template if it's been a while since I've used it. Now that we have this all sandwiched together, we are going to mark with our 8-point crosshair square. I like to put something on top of the pin. I also like to put the pin in before I mark. And then that way I know the pin is exactly in the middle. I've marked that intersection, and what you need to be aware of, this distance from here to here is 12.5. This distance from seam to seam is 12. So you don't want to go from this corner. That's not the corner. It's 1/4 inch inside of that. So really easy with our crosshair square. We put the little hole on top of the pin, and we are going to line the outside of the crosshair square with the top and the bottom, and then the inside, which is this line right here, is our 12-inch line, and that is the width of our block. So we're going to get that set up. And everything is all even, and now I'm going to mark a total of 16 lines. And I have one more mark I'm going to make. I'm going to go from the middle up 1.5 inches so that I can have a place to start the center part of the design. So it doesn't have to be exactly 1.5 inches. That's about where I want to be. So I'm going to put this back on my pin so I don't lose it when I carry it to the machine, and I will meet you back at the machine where we can start stitching. We are ready to stitch out our design. I have added some pins in the 4 corners of the center because I decided I wanted to add another element, and I didn't want to skip over these parts when I got to them. So I have, my 16 crosshairs, and we're going to use the Jewel Collection, the Link of Hearts, and I'm using the 10.5-inch design size, and the heart itself is 1 inch. So we're going to get started here by putting the pin on the center. I do want to tell you that these are the lines that we are going to use, the ones that are added diagonal, not the one that comes straight up through the center of the template. And the lines correspond here on the top of the template as well. So those are the lines that we're going to be using. I am going to stitch to my left, going that direction, so that is the side that I want to start on. So I'm going to put this line here on the reference line, and I'm going to pull my thread here at the point of the heart. So there we go. That got a little long. Don't need that much thread there. So to line this back up again. And okay, so I have these. I am going to stitch around to the left to this part of the heart, and then I'm going to come back. So all of the hearts on this design are going to be double stitched. The center and go back. Now I move the template and the pin is in the way, but this just is going to remind me, oh, I want to pay attention to that when I get there, and that's where my next heart is going to stitch. So now I'm going to stitch this side. And I can travel along this part of the template. Before I start making this part of the heart back here, I want to make sure that I'm in line. And if I'm not, I can adjust my template a little. Sometimes you get off. My lines may be off a little bit. Now, this is where I'm going to add something at the four corners. So I am going to take my template off of the pin, and I am going to open up the gate puzzle piece, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm going to take my 2-inch heart from the Set of Hearts collection. I have the 2-inch, and I'm going to set it here. And I'm going to make a heart off of this center design. So I could stitch up to the top here. And then flip the template over, but I do want the heart to be double stitched because all of my hearts in this center design are going to be double stitched. And I just think it's going to look nicer if they're all double stitched instead of these little ones being double stitched and the ones outside being single stitched. You don't have to do that, that's just what I want to do. So there we go. Finish on this side. Now I can put that away, bring this back out, put this back around, the puzzle piece back in, tape the door shut, there we go. And now I'm back exactly where I was before, and I'm going to continue . I'm going to go all the way around. I am now going to put a design in the center of our piece here, and if you remember, I put a little tick mark on this center vertical line 1.5 inches from center going up. So this is the top and this is the bottom, and I'm going to pull my needle there, and the way that you make the hearts is you stitch one side of the template, you flip it over, and then you stitch the other side. And you have 2 lines here that go right through center in the vertical. And those are the lines we're going to use to line up with. I'm going to start with my 6-inch one, and I'm going to pull my threads here. And I'm going to move this around a lot so that you can see it. I want you to see where I'm placing my template. This line here on the center vertical line. And I am going to stitch one side of my heart. Now I can flip the template, line it up, and stitch the other side of this 6-inch heart. Normally you would stitch a design and always start in the center and go out. I like to mark my crosshairs with the pin in the fabric, and I can't really stitch this part of the design with the pin in place. So I'm done with my 6. I'm now going to pull my 5, and I'm only going to stitch, I'm going to line this up. Because it's a different size, it's not going to come down to this point. I've connected up here at the top. And I'm going to stitch down and do this half of the 5-inch. And I moved my template a little bit, so I'm gonna make sure that I am in the center. I'm now going to switch to my 4-inch. See, I didn't complete that heart with the 5-inch. I'm going to set the 4-inch here. I'm going to line it up, center up on top, this line center on the bottom, and I'm off just a skosh here. And now I'm going to stitch up to the top. And I'm now going to my 3-inch. And I'm going to repeat this until I get to the 1-inch. Going to the opposite side. Now I'm at the end, and I am going to do a complete heart. So. For the last part of the design, I am only going to use the 2-inch heart. Now, you can do this without any markings by using the template on your you can line it up on your border. So in this case, I would line it up with this part of the template, the very top of it, on this seam here. But some people find it easier to have a line. So this line is 3/4 of an inch down, and I just kind of held it up and looked at it, measured it, and 3/4 of an inch. So I've marked that all the way down. There, you can see that better. I've marked this all the way down. It may make it easier for some people. I am not going to measure anything. Sometimes on a border you just want to go all the way across, and this border doesn't have corners on it, so I am just going to stitch this heart all the way across, and I can start it off here if I want to. It doesn't matter. That may actually look kind of good because then it doesn't accentuate that I've got things out of line, you know, as far as I don't have an exact number of hearts going across on both sides. So we're going to start here, and because I am starting off in the border, I won't have to tie these threads in. I do need to pull them, and I just need to take a couple of stitches to lock them, and then there we go. So I am going to stitch around. I don't have to go all the way down because I'm off of my piece, and I'm going to stop on the line right there. Now I'm going to turn my template. You could do this a couple of ways. You can either double stitch the tops of the hearts, the bottom of the hearts, or alternate. I prefer to alternate. So this was double stitched on the bottom here. This next one I'm going to double stitch on the top. So I'm taking this line, this horizontal line, and I'm putting it on the line that I've marked on the sandwich, and I'm putting this part of the template up against the foot. So this side over here, this heart was double stitched on the bottom. This one's going to be double stitched on the top. Here I go. Now I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn my template over. I'm going to line it up on the line, and that'll take me to finish the heart. But I don't want to stop here. I want to be back over on this side to continue. And that's where I get my double stitching. So now this one, wherever the direction you start going is where you're going to get the double stitching. So again, line up. This goes on the bottom. Go back up to the top. Complete the half a heart. Stop. Flip the template. Complete the heart. Go back up and stop on the line. And I'm going to keep going until I get done with this border. Now this last one, do the top part, come down here, and then I'm going to go off here There's the border. We're going to do that on both sides. After trimming my placemat, I took the backing and placed it right side down on top of my quilted sandwich, making sure to mark an opening so I could turn it. I stitched all the way around the perimeter, backstitching at both sides of the opening. Then I turned it right sides out, pinned the opening closed, and pressed. Now top stitch all the way around the perimeter, and you're done. For a nice finish, try a triple straight stitch. I hope this video has inspired you.